After the disruption comes the power move. If you've already heard episode 74 or spent some time with the power page Disrupt the Loop, then you know we've been in a season of disruption. But there's something that happens after you disrupt the loop so that you can move on, move forward. Last week, you would have called out the cycles that drain you, cost you time, and keep you spinning. But disruption alone doesn't change systems, my friend. It only exposes them. So, in today's episode, I'm walking you through my three-part sequence that carries you from disruption to how to close the loop. You don't need to explain your decisions. You don't need to keep making adjustments to dysfunction. This is your line in the sand, and it's time to close. Let's go. Welcome to Impact Innovators with Felicia Ford, where we dive into the strategies that empower changemaker brands to leave a lasting legacy. Think of this podcast as your audio playbook for meaningful action. What's possible when thought leaders, disruptors, and pioneers align to share their journeys? I'm Felicia Ford, your host, bringing together the brightest minds and the most groundbreaking ideas to help you drive change, navigate through the sticky stuff, and elevate your brand. Whether you're tackling funding hurdles, looking for growth strategies, or seeking the perfect balance between profit and purpose, we've got you covered. Stay tuned and be a part of a movement that's setting new benchmarks in how we think about progress, community, and doing. Let's innovate, impact, and inspire. I really do feel like something is being stirred up at this point because I keep getting messages, emails from so many of you asking questions, providing feedback, saying this is right on time. And I'm so glad to hear that in a sense, because it means that you are ready for this next step and that you're ready to do something about what's happening. But then I'm also in alignment with you of being frustrated about that the fact that you're even experiencing this in the first place. So someone said specifically, Felicia, how do you start? And I say that's a great question, right? To start with. And to that, I would say, let's name the loops that you might find yourself in. Your loop may be indecision, it may be negotiating or doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. We know what that is, right? Or maybe it's starting and not finishing, or expecting more from people who don't have the capacity to deliver. It may be any one of those things or none of those things, but it's going to be up to you, my friend, to name that thing. And I really want you to understand that naming it gives you the power to change it. So you do want to take that time to figure out what exactly are you in a loop of repeating and recycling. After you name the loop, you then disrupt the loop, right? And last week's episode, episode 74, gave you a resource that you can access to go through that entire process of disrupting the loop. But after you disrupt the loop, you want to grow from it. And this is a process that's an extension of my own personal framework. I mean, really, this is what I have done in my personal life, throughout my career, throughout my academics, throughout my life experiences. And I've adopted that into the business because it is proven and it works. So this now is an extension of Felicia Ford and Company's philosophy of growth by design. And I said with some friends today, or with my friends today on threads, that growth doesn't immediately feel expansive. It's dark before it's clear. It's heavy before it's celebratory. And while that process has its own timing, what you decide while you're in it determines how long it will take to get to the other side of something. And I'm going to share again a couple of ways for you to get through that. But I will also say, because I've gone through so many phases of growth and because I now can recognize these seasons, I won't say I recognize it immediately, but the moment I see I'm being positioned to elevate to another level or grow to another level, and I know those words and phrases are thrown around as jargon or buzzwords, but It's a real thing. It really happens spiritually, energetically, emotionally. Like you can just feel the tension in the air. And for me, I don't like that. I don't like the way it feels. I don't like the way it drains my energy. I don't like feeling as if I'm walking through mud. And sometimes it is what's necessary to get you through to the other side. But we want to name these things. We want to be able to identify, are we in that phase? Are we about to approach a shift? What is happening here? Okay. So you've probably had moments where mm, people may have doubted your decision or doubted your perspective or doubted how you even approach making a decision because they were watching from the wrong seat. They are not sitting beside you. They're not walking in your shoes. They don't have your roadmap or your intel. They've not asked you any questions. But if you're part of my email community, you already know what I'm referencing here. I shared a message with you all on Friday, and I'm not going to retell that story, but I will say this. If you're in the middle of a decision right now, if something feels heavy, if it feels unresolved or it's dragging, it's not necessarily hard, but it is maybe meticulous or because you're trying to negotiate with something that's already finished. It's already served its purpose. It's already had its season. It's time to let it go. Have you ever had something you've been holding on to? Maybe let's see, a bike or a car, right? You had an attachment to your bike or your car at some point. But then the rain came, you left it outside and your bike now has rust, the chain has rust and you sprayed it with some WD-40 or the rain caused a leak in your sunroof and then maybe mold began to grow. So you continue to pour into your bike or you're pouring into your car as the years go by. You get new tires, you get new wipers, you get new brakes, and maybe even a fresh coat of paint. It's getting you from destination to destination, but the energetic cost of maintaining it and dressing it up is costing you more in time and energy than the monetary cost of replacing it. This is what closing the loop looks like. It's a new agreement with your time, your energy, your direction. So let me walk you through these 3 moves I want to share with you to help you do that, to close this loop. And the first one is simple. It's to choose a new standard. Now, I do realize this means that you have disrupted the loop. You've gone through the framework that's in the power page, and you will want to be able to grab that from media.feliciafordandco.com/move. You can grab the power page there. This is assuming, again, that you've gone through that process. You don't want to skip these steps. But in this first step of closing the loop, it means that you're choosing a new standard. You will have to have made room to get rid of and shed the old stuff, right? But you don't want to just let go of what wasn't working. Your main thing in this phase is to decide what will be. What are you available for now? Energetically, strategically, structurally, relationship wise. I want you to bring out your notebook, bring out your journal, your oversized post-it notes, your whiteboard, whatever it is, however it is that you go through this process of writing and mapping things out. Give yourself permission to get messy with it, to cross out what doesn't fit anymore. Do all the things until you have what you need to exist in this new season. You're operating from a set of new rules, my friend, and you want to know it. Everyone else will need to know it. And more than that, you want to have something to reference if you're feeling as if, like, oh, I'm not sure what this new identity of mine looks like. Okay. Step number 2, initiate action. This is the pivot. This is the first clear step. It may not be or it may not feel big, but it is clear. Okay. Shake things up, do something different. Close out the chapter with a ceremony, a declaration, and that can be private or public, but you want to signal to yourself that this thing is done and this is what you do differently now. When was the last time you made a big purchase? A car, a home, a new toy. I'm going to stick with this analogy here because it works. But something that involves a salesperson and a negotiation, you know, their goal is to make the sale. They know your goal is to walk out with the thing that you came to get. So they may use words like discount or complimentary or I'm doing this for you, and we know those things are psychological tactics to disarm us and to make us feel like, oh, you're treating me different, you're treating me special, when what they're doing is their job. Their job is their bottom line. Their job is making sure that they hit their numbers. Meanwhile, if you're operating in your new, they have no idea the currency in which you now operate. And I'm going to repeat that because maybe that needs to be a sub point, but you want to determine the currency in which you now operate. You're more focused on getting the thing and going home. You don't want to be manipulated. You don't want to be used. You don't want to spend more money than your new car, your new flashy toy thing is worth. But more than that, you don't want your time wasted. You have other things to do. You have other places to be. You have more decisions to make, and you have other people who are relying on you and who need you. And you don't have time to be sitting here playing the games with the salesperson. So instead of playing their negotiation game with their negotiation rules on their terms, you come equipped, you come decisive, and you come determined with your own set of rules. So if they're thinking, oh, we got her with this bottom line cap cost for this car, right? And you're like, man, I have an appointment to be at. I am equipped. I have the money. I have budgeted for this. So whether you want to play these games with me or not, I've already won because I'm walking out of the door with the item that I wanted in the way that I wanted. And that's the end of the game, right? Now, we're going to now quickly move into number 3 because that's one of my favorite things to do and one of my favorite ways to mark the end of a moment and the beginning of another. And that is to celebrate. Now, here is where science meets us. Okay. Science and celebration? What? Let me tell you, neuroplasticity, it's something that you have heard me mention before, but there's a great book you can read by Sean. What is Sean's last name? Starts with an A. I cannot remember how to pronounce his last name, but the name of the book is called The Happiness Advantage, and it teaches on happiness psychology. He went to Harvard. He went through this journey. I'm not going to tell the whole story. So make sure you try the book out. It's yellow, but I bring that up because in order to completely close this loop, friends, you must do something to rewire your brain. Because when you mark a change with joy, your brain starts to believe it's real. Your brain responds to evidence. Your brain responds to creativity, imagination, to pictures. And as I say, again, close it out with a celebration, a big bang, activate all of your senses. Okay. Go to the beach, have some drinks with friends. And I mean, as an example, yesterday, I celebrated a moment with strangers who quickly became friends. And we had some sparkling cider in the summer, and it was great. You can see the story. I don't know if the story is still up on my Instagram, but I think I may have posted on a TikTok too. So celebrate the moment, okay? When you reward yourself for a positive change, your brain will start searching on its own to recognize other things just like this, okay? Celebration helps your brain register that the shift is complete so it doesn't keep searching for this dysfunctional loop that no longer serves you. And when you decide to surround yourself with others that are living this way, that are doing business this way, that are leading this way, that are operating in this way, the reinforcement is even stronger. Now, I want to invite you into this space. Each month, I hold a fireside chat, and it's a space for you to connect with me, to be in a room with others like you. It does fill quickly, and I limit seating so that we can speak freely and candidly. I mean, it is a fireside chat after all, but it's a strategic place curated for people at the intersection of decision making and leadership, and those who are hungry for growth and alignment and forward movement. This energy here, this is real. This is actually who I am. Now I'm very much so an introvert, but when I'm passionate about something, that something brings something alive in me, because we are coded for change. And I'm going to share a little bit more about that in the next couple of weeks through my email community. But I want you to join me and all of my friends who will be joining as well on Thursday, July 24th, for our next fireside chat to disrupt the loop. You can register at no cost at media.feliciafordandco.com/events. And if you want something even more private and you'd like one-to-one support from me in disrupting your loop, then I invite you to schedule a time to talk with me about what's keeping you in this place of being stuck. It may be your business, your work, your relationship with others, or even with yourself. And I'm not a coach, friend. I'm not a therapist, but I am the growth strategist. So I would take this from the approach of, what's the problem? What are potential solutions? And what action can we take right now? You don't have to be a business owner or a boss or have any kind of title, really. But for a limited time, before I go into hibernation for summer, I am opening up a few spaces for you to work with me one-to-one. And for that, you can visit media.feliciafordandco.com/move. My friends, whatever I share here, if you're driving or you're on your walk or you're in the office, know that you can always visit the show notes. And that's just the description, the transcript. I'm pointing as if you can see, as if you can see me, but my team is always here to support you, whether you need directives on that or if you have questions about how we can work together. I'll have all of that for you in the show notes. Thank you. Thank you to those of you who tune in each week. I want you to know how much I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing the episodes. Thank you for commenting on Threads and Instagram. And I'm not on Facebook as much, but if you're there, I'll be sure to make sure that we start checking there more often. But thank you for sending your emails. I personally read those each week, and it's such a joy to see how you're growing and how these revelations are affecting how you lead and how you live and how you work. And I want to say this is our last episode for the season. I will be back after my summer break. So if you want to hear more or to see me, you will need to come on over to the fireside chat. Okay. Don't forget to register for the fireside chat at media.feliciafordandco.com/events. And I'll see you the next time. Hey, Changemaker, real quick before you go, if today's episode helped you in some way, the best way to thank me is to head over to Apple Podcasts, subscribe to the channel, and leave a review. I'd also love to connect with you over on social. You can find me at Friends Call Me Fee. Until next time, keep changing the game.